Welcome to our YouTube channel Dream Dynamic.
Have you ever wanted to make a real change in your life in just 7 days, but didn't know where to start? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not only possible, but it's simpler than you might think. These aren't your typical recycled self-help tips. These are the 7 habits that completely turned my life around in just 1 week. I'm talking about real, tangible change that left me feeling more energized, focused, and aligned with my goals. I've been through the highs and lows of testing these habits myself. And what I'm about to share with you is raw, real, and backed by personal experience. Whether you're looking to up your productivity, boost your mental well-being, or simply shake things up for the better, these habits can spark that transformation. So, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. Stick with me to the end, because these aren't just abstract ideas. I'm giving you real, actionable steps that you can start today. And of course, I'll be sharing a few personal stories along the way, so you can see exactly how these habits played out in my own journey. Ready to get started? Let's go. Habit 1. Unlocking the power of the morning. One of the most impactful changes I made was taking full advantage of the morning hours. For a long time, I underestimated the power of an early start. I used to roll out of bed just in time to rush through my morning routine, feeling frazzled before the day had even begun. But everything changed when I committed to waking up earlier and truly owning my mornings. What surprised me most wasn't just having more time, but how different the early hours felt. There's something empowering about getting up while the world is still quiet. It feels like you're getting a head start, not just on the tasks for the day, but on your mindset too. Instead of diving straight into work or the usual routine, I used the time to reconnect with myself. Whether that was through a bit of exercise, a moment of mindfulness, or simply sitting down with a cup of tea to plan my day. And this wasn't about being super productive from the moment I opened my eyes. It was about setting a positive tone for the day. I'd take a few minutes to stretch, focusing on how my body felt, and then I'd dive into something that energized me mentally. Whether that was reading a few pages of a book, journaling my thoughts, or visualizing what I wanted to achieve. This simple shift from rushed mornings to intentional ones made a world of difference. What I didn't expect was how these small, consistent actions in the morning would ripple out and affect my entire day. I started feeling more focused, more in control, and surprisingly, more relaxed. The chaos that usually dominated my mornings was gone, replaced by a sense of calm and readiness. It wasn't about fitting more into my day. It was about approaching the day with a clear head and a balanced heart. I also noticed that the mornings became a time for creativity and self-reflection. Whether I was writing down my thoughts, planning new ideas, or just enjoying a quiet moment of peace. These mornings felt like my own private space to grow. I wasn't just reacting to life anymore. I was starting each day with intention, and that intention carried through everything I did. If you're someone who struggles with mornings or feels like there's never enough time in the day, I challenge you to give this a try. You don't need to overhaul your schedule overnight. Start with just 10 or 15 minutes earlier and use that time for yourself. Whether it's for stretching, meditating, or just sipping your coffee in peace. Those early moments will set the tone for everything that follows. Trust me, the difference is remarkable. Habit 2. Moving your body every day. The second life-changing habit I adopted was making daily exercise a priority. Now, let me be real. I wasn't always a fitness enthusiast. In fact, I used to come up with endless reasons to avoid working out. Whether it was, I'm too tired, I don't have time, or the classic, I'll start tomorrow. I always found a way to put it off. But one day, I decided to stop making excuses and commit to moving my body every single day, even if it was just for a short while. I started with a simple plan, 20 minutes a day. No crazy routines, no intense workouts. Just 20 minutes of movement. I mixed it up between activities I enjoyed like yoga, light jogging, and bodyweight exercises. The goal wasn't to become a gym fanatic, but to build a habit of consistency and to start seeing exercise as a way to take care of myself, not as a chore. The first few days were tough. My muscles were sore. I was tired, and I was tempted to skip a session. But I kept reminding myself why I started. It wasn't just about looking fit. It was about feeling better, mentally and physically. By the middle of the week, something clicked. I woke up one morning and felt noticeably more energetic. My mood had shifted. I was less stressed, more positive, and far more focused. Those 20 minutes weren't just about getting through a workout. They were about clearing my head and reconnecting with my body. One particular morning stands out to me. It was a cool, bright day, and as I went for a jog, I experienced a sense of freedom that I hadn't felt in a long time. The simple act of running, with the fresh air filling my lungs, gave me clarity. It was no longer just about physical fitness. It was about mental clarity and emotional release. It became a moment to disconnect from the noise of the world and tune into myself. Physically, I began to notice subtle but encouraging changes. Better posture, more strength, and an overall boost in fitness. But the real transformation happened in my mindset. Exercise stopped being something I had to do and became something I had to do. A form of self-care. It was no longer about how many calories I burned, but about how great I felt afterward, both in my body and in my mind. Another key part of my journey was yoga. At first, I wasn't sure if it was for me. I thought it wouldn't give me a real workout. But once I gave it a try, I was hooked. Yoga wasn't just about stretching. It was about mindfulness, breathing, and learning to listen to my body. It helped me stay present and taught me how powerful it can be to slow down and breathe deeply. Incorporating exercise into my daily routine did more than just improve my fitness. It transformed my mental and emotional health. I realized that taking care of my body directly influenced my mood, my energy, and my overall happiness. And here's the best part. It's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to extremes. It's about finding something you genuinely enjoy. Whether that's dancing in your living room, taking a hike, or just going for a walk around the block. What matters is that you move. If you've been struggling to get started, my advice is simple. Start small. You don't need to sign up for a marathon or spend hours at the gym. Find something fun, something that makes you feel good, and just do it for a few minutes each day. Trust me, it's the small, consistent efforts that lead to the biggest changes. And soon enough, you'll realize that daily movement has the power to improve not just your body, but your entire perspective on life. Habit 3. The power of journaling. The third habit that completely transformed my life is journaling. Now, I'll admit, at first, I wasn't convinced. I always thought journaling was something for people with endless free time, or those who were naturally reflective. With a busy schedule, I couldn't imagine sitting down to write about my day. But after committing to just 1 week of consistent journaling, my perspective changed completely. It's now become a key part of my personal growth. I started small. No fancy journals or special apps. Just a simple notebook and pen. I dedicated 10 minutes before bed to write. At first, it felt awkward. I sat there, staring at the blank page, not sure what to write. So, I started with something easy. How my day went, what made me smile, and any challenges I faced. As the days passed, something incredible happened. I began to go deeper, writing not just about my day, but about my dreams, fears, goals, and the emotions that often got tangled up in the chaos of life. Through journaling, I found clarity. I began to see patterns in my thoughts and behaviors. For example, I realized how much mental energy I wasted worrying about things, completely outside of my control. And on the flip side, I identified areas where I could actually take meaningful action. One particular night, after a stressful day at work, I remember writing down every detail of what went wrong. The act of writing allowed me to process my emotions better than I ever could. Just thinking about them, I could pinpoint exactly what triggered my stress and plan out how I might handle it differently in the future. It was like clearing mental clutter that had been weighing me down. Journaling also became a way for me to track progress, both big and small. I celebrated small wins and documented the steps I took toward bigger goals. One entry I still look back on was about a presentation I was nervous about. I wrote down my fears, my preparation process, and how it all turned out better than expected. Reading that entry later gave me a sense of accomplishment and reminded me of my ability to overcome challenges, which boosted my confidence. Another practice I incorporated into my journaling was gratitude. Every day, I made it a point to write down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, it was hard to think of things, but over time, it became easier. This habit shifted my perspective. Instead of focusing on what was lacking in my life, I started appreciating all the little things I already had, which brought more positivity into my daily routine. I also found that journaling helped me capture beautiful, unexpected moments. One entry that stands out was about a random act of kindness from a stranger who helped me with my grocery bags when I was clearly struggling. Writing about it not only made me feel grateful, but it also inspired me to pay it forward in small ways in my own life. What journaling gave me, more than anything, was a chance to understand myself on a deeper level. It became a mirror that reflected my desires, fears, strengths, and weaknesses. It's a safe judgment, free space where I can be honest with myself. It's like therapy, but with a pen and paper. If you've never tried journaling, I highly encourage you to give it a shot. It's not about writing perfectly or coming up with profound thoughts. It's about letting your mind flow and putting your thoughts and feelings on paper, whatever they may be. It could be a recap of your day, a random thought, or just a stream of consciousness. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And trust me, once you start, you might be surprised by the clarity and peace it brings. Journaling isn't about the outcome. It's about the process, and that process can be incredibly powerful. Habit 4. Embracing mindful eating. The next habit that really made a difference for me is mindful eating. Like so many of us, I used to eat on autopilot, grabbing a quick bite between tasks, scrolling through my phone while eating, or even munching away in front of my laptop. I didn't realize how much this mindless eating was affecting my overall well-being until I decided to experiment with mindful eating for 1 week. And let me tell you, the impact was profound. So, what exactly is mindful eating? It's about giving your full attention to the act of eating, engaging all your senses, and being present in the moment. It's not just about what's on your plate, but how you experience each bite, from the flavors to the textures, even the sounds of the food. Everything becomes part of the experience. I decided to turn every meal into a small ritual. No more eating on the go, and definitely no more distractions. I set up a peaceful space for myself. No phone, no TV, no laptop, just me and my meal. At first, it felt a little odd to sit in silence, but soon it became a calming part of my day. I started each meal by taking a few deep breaths, grounding myself in the present moment and focusing entirely on the food in front of me. One of the first things I noticed was how much more I enjoyed my food. Meals I had rushed through before suddenly became rich and flavorful. I found myself savoring the crunch of fresh vegetables, the sweetness of a perfectly ripe fruit, or the creamy texture of a simple dish like oatmeal. It was as if I was tasting these foods for the first time. And honestly, it made each meal so much more satisfying. Another huge shift was how in tune I became with my body's signals. Eating slowly and paying attention allowed me to recognize when I was truly full. In the past, I would often overeat simply because I was distracted and eating too quickly to notice. But with mindful eating, I found that I naturally ate less and felt more satisfied. It wasn't about restricting myself. It was about being fully aware of how my body felt as I ate. One morning, I remember eating a bowl of oatmeal that I would normally scarf down without much thought. This time, I took it slow, savoring every spoonful. The warmth, the creaminess, the subtle sweetness of the honey I added. It became more than just breakfast. It was a moment of calm, gratitude, and mindfulness that set a positive tone for the rest of my day. Something else I started noticing was how different foods affected my body. Processed, heavy foods left me feeling sluggish and drained, while fresh, whole foods energized me and left me feeling light. This awareness shifted how I approached food choices. I wasn't forcing myself to eat healthier. It was happening naturally because I wanted to feel good. Mindful eating also helped me recognize the emotional connection I had with food. How often had I reached for snacks out of boredom or stress instead of actual hunger? Once I became more aware, I was able to pause and ask myself, am I really hungry, or am I just looking for comfort? One evening after a long day, I found myself craving something sweet. Instead of reaching for dessert automatically, I paused, checked in with myself, and realized I wasn't actually hungry. I was just seeking a reward for getting through the day. Instead, I made a soothing cup of tea, which was all I needed in that moment. It was a small decision, but one that showed me how powerful mindful eating can be. Incorporating mindful eating into my life has truly been transformative. It's deepened my relationship with food, improved my digestion, and enhanced my overall sense of well-being. And the best part, it's such a simple habit to adopt. You don't need to overhaul your diet or follow any strict rules. It's all about any strict rules. It's all about how you eat, not just what you eat. If you're curious to try mindful eating, start with just one meal a day. Create a calm distraction. Freeze space. Take a few deep breaths before your first bite and really savor the food in front of you. Notice the flavors, the textures, and how it makes you feel. You might be surprised at how something so simple can bring more enjoyment, clarity, and connection to your life. Habit 5. Limiting screen time. Now let's talk about something that's become a challenge for all of us. Limiting screen time. In today's digital world, it's almost second nature to get lost in hours of scrolling through social media, binge, watching shows, or checking emails at all hours of the day. I was no exception. But eventually, I started to feel the impact. My focus was shot, my productivity was slipping, and worst of all, my sleep was suffering. So, I decided it was time for a change, and I set some clear boundaries on my screen time. What happened next was unexpected. The first boundary I set was limiting my non-work-related screen time to just 1 hour a day. That meant no more mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, no endless YouTube rabbit holes, and no late-night Netflix binges. Now, I'll be honest, the first few days were tough. I hadn't realized how much I'd relied on my phone to fill every spare moment. But pushing through that discomfort was worth it. The first thing I noticed was just how much time I had been wasting. I suddenly found myself with more hours in the day than I knew what to do with. So I used that time to reconnect with hobbies I had long neglected. I picked up a book I had been meaning to read, started drawing again, and even tried out some new recipes in the kitchen. It was like rediscovering parts of myself that I'd forgotten about. One evening, instead of plopping down in front of the TV after dinner, I decided to take a walk outside. The fresh air, the sounds of nature, and the simple act of moving my body made me feel so much more alive than any screen ever had. That evening, walk quickly became a new routine I looked forward to, something that brought real joy and peace into my day. The biggest shift, though, was in my sleep quality. I used to scroll through social media or watch videos right up until the moment I felt sleepy, but this always left me wired and restless. When I cut out screens before bed, it became so much easier to unwind. I replaced my nightly screen time with reading a book, meditating, or just reflecting on the day. The result? I started falling asleep faster, slept more deeply, and woke up feeling refreshed, something I hadn't experienced in a long time. But the benefits didn't stop there. Without the constant influx of news, social media comparisons, and digital distractions, my mental health saw a noticeable improvement. I felt less anxious, more present, and much more in tune with the people around me. Conversations became more engaging, and I was able to focus better on whatever I was doing, whether it was a task, a hobby, or just enjoying a quiet moment. I remember one afternoon in particular when I went to a local cafe with nothing but a notebook and a pen. No phone, no laptop. Just me, my thoughts, and a little creativity. I spent hours writing, planning, and even sketching, all without the usual digital interruptions. It was peaceful, productive, and a reminder of how much richer life can feel when you're not glued to a screen. Of course, there were moments of temptation. I'd catch myself instinctively reaching for my phone, but each time I reminded myself of how much better I was feeling without it. And slowly, the urge faded. Limiting screen time isn't about cutting out technology entirely. It's about finding a healthy balance and using your time with intention. If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or disconnected, I challenge you to set some boundaries with your screen time. Start small. Maybe cut back by an hour each day and fill that extra time with something meaningful. It could be a hobby you love, quality time with loved ones, or simply being present in the moment. You'll be amazed at how much more vibrant life becomes when you're not constantly tethered to a screen. And that wraps up the 7 powerful habits that truly transformed my life in just 1 week. It's been such a rewarding journey, not only to implement these habits, but also to share them with all of you. Each of these habits, whether it's building a morning routine, practicing mindful eating, or limiting screen time, has the potential to bring about real positive change. And remember, it's not about overhauling your entire life all at once. Start small. Take it one step at a time and watch as those small changes lead to big, lasting transformations. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits are you most excited to try? Drop a comment below and let me know. Also, if you've already started implementing some of these habits, share your experience. I'd love to read about how they're making an impact in your life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got more inspiring content coming your way, packed with tips and insights to help you live your best life. If you know someone who could benefit from these habits, share this video with them. It might be the nudge they need to start making some positive changes. Thanks so much for watching and being part of this amazing community. Remember, small, consistent steps can lead to big results. Let's keep growing, keep evolving, and turn everyday routines into powerful moments of self-improvement. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.